Welcome to this week's installment, Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don Henniger. I'm Don, and joining me as always is our man of all seasonings, Kevin Maxwell.
I thought you were going to say Pitmaster, but...
No, I might have too obvious.
Yeah.
You're your man of all seasonings.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. How you doing, Don?
I'm doing great, Kevin.
Good to see you.
You know I'm doing great.
I know.
Well, because of our guest, right?
Yeah.
Every week we just seem to kind of knock them out of the park with these fantastic guests that come in week after week.
I got some questions. I got some questions, Shirley. So.
Well, we're gonna get into it. This is our 91st episode, and every single one of them has been been awesome. And this was going to be the same thing today. We've got a fantastic guest. His name's Sterling Smith. He's a Navy vet. He's an ASU grad, former banker, and now he's an award-winning barbecue pitmaster. What a career journey! And with the work he does today, he finds ways to support our service veterans too. He runs Loot and Booty Rubs and Sauce, a Scottsdale company. Another example of the good things that people achieve in our city is sitting right in our studio today. Sterling Smith, welcome, Sterling.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here. Obviously, love living in this amazing city of ours.
Love it, man.
Is this the first non-food related podcast you've done, or?
Actually, I have to think about that. Actually, it may be.
It may be?
Yeah. I've done several barbecue-related podcasts and cooking-related, but this may be the first non-barbecue.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we're going to talk about barbecue. We're going to have to do that.
I know.
I'm pretty sure that's going to come up.
Yeah,
I think we might talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
So, Sterling, you were born in Memphis, moved around a bit growing up, graduated from high school in Georgia. That was your background. Then you went on to service in the Navy. So tell us the rest of the story that brought you to where you are here today.
Absolutely. You know, when you're young and in the Navy, you like to run around on the beach and have fun, and other people do too. And there's a young lady who happened to be from Scottsdale, Arizona, running around, and this is back in the mid to late 90s, so we didn't have cell phones. We wrote letters back and forth.
Really?
I remember driving out here many times to see her. And
from Memphis? You live in Memphis?
No, at that time I was in San Diego.
Okay, based.
So, yes, yeah. I joined the Navy and I was stationed in San Diego. So it's really close from Phoenix. So we go out there a lot. So I met a young lady, and now we've been married. It'll be 20 years this October. We've been married. We have 2 kids, and it's just been crazy since then.
She comes from a famous family, though. Talk about that too. Right?
Yes, her family owns Soretta Candy Factory here in town in Glendale, and her sister's Jamie Soretta. Is here, so she's got a long-standing Arizona family who's been here a long time. Who I married into, so we got barbecue and chocolate.
I was going to say you got main course and dessert all lined up, man. That's perfect.
I love it.
That's great.
You have to stay together forever. That's all there is to it, right?
It's a sweet life, right?
So did you ever, in your wildest dreams early on, envision being a barbecue celebrity pitmaster?
Absolutely not. I mean, after I got out of the Navy, I went to school. I went to Arizona State and got my degree in finance and worked for several different banks here in the Valley. I was a branch manager. I did commercial small business lending, financing, and eventually I worked for a bank that came out here looking to start a private wealth management and a small business banking field, and they're based out of Kansas City. And every year they have an employee barbecue competition.
Competition.
So they bring all the different from the trust department, the commercial servicing, all the different departments. They have a great time. They have a band playing, and they get all these different areas to compete against each other. In Kansas City, in the heartland, it was called the American Royal is the grounds where they would have all the livestock. They push all the livestock to them and auction them off. So traditionally, the competition was held down on what's called the West Bottoms in Kansas City. So I went to that. I was older. I used to play sports growing up, and I wrestled. I played football. I was very competitive, and when you get older, those bones aren't the same, but you still want to be competitive. So cooking, I gravitated into cooking, and so I went and I saw kind of what competition barbecue was. I saw the camaraderie. I saw just people having a blast. I saw people having fun. And I came back and said, how can I do this in Arizona? Is there something I can do here? Are there competitions? So I researched everything barbecue. And I found the Arizona Barbecue Club, which at the time was doing many barbecue events. It started as a tailgating club from ASU and became a whole barbecue league now. So I found them, I started getting information. I went and bought a $40 Brinkman smoker from Home Depot and a bag of mesquite wood, lighter fluid, and a pork butt, and made the worst piece of meat I've ever made in my life. I had that smoker just chugging, I thought the fire department was going to shut me down.
Was it over smoked? It
was terrible. Yeah, okay. It was over smoked. At the time I thought it's barbecue, you need smoke. So it was just terrible. It was a travesty. And my wife's family was over, so it was just embarrassing. But, I wanted to get better, and eventually I started a barbecue team in 2009.
Right.
And here we are 16 later as I quit my, corporate job. I have a line of rubs and sauces. I teach classes all over the world. Speaking of that, this is your 91st thing, podcast. I just had my 102nd barbecue, in-person barbecue class.
Nice.
Really?
Class,
yeah.
Wow.
Class 2 months ago in Kansas City. So, it's...
In Kansas City?
Yeah, I never thought I'd be a teacher anyway. I have zero patience. But barbecue makes you patient. For barbecue, if you're not patient, it's not going to be right.
Right.
Barbecue is one of those things that
Good
make
point.
you a patient person. If you're not, like I said, it's not going to be right.
You gotta let it. You can't. You gotta let it go.
You can't push it. It's going to be done when it's done.
Yeah.
Don, are you a big barbecue guy?
I love barbecues, man.
Do you barbecue stuff at home?
I do.
What do you make?
Any kind of meat.
Everything.
And fish too.
You can do everything.
Most
Fish,
any meat,
vegetables. I do a
yeah.
lot of vegetables on the grill. Yeah.
So do you teach here locally too?
I actually have a class coming up in the next month. Me and a local barbecue guy who's a friend of mine. He's teaching steak, and I'm doing a competition ribs. We're doing it at AZ Barbecue in Glendale. Information is on my website.
Cool.
But I also have through my website a line of online competition barbecue classes from chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket that you can take in the comfort of your home and just watch me teach you,
Really?
talk to you
Yeah.
slowly about meats.
Yeah. Glass of wine.
If you enjoy that,
kind of
stuff. Exactly, whatever you got to
Talk
do.
softly to me.
Yeah, you don't, just be
Wow.
you and me and meat.
Yeah, that's awesome. What's your favorite meat when you're cooking?
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is when I got into barbecue, I really love ribs. A big, nice pork rib smoked with the bone coming out. And then, honestly, today I love lamb. I've cooked in Australia several times, and I've won lamb twice at their Australian invitation.
Wait, you've won competitions in Australia?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, multiple. And so here in America, chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket are our main categories that we turn in. And in Australia, they add lamb to that, so we're cooking 5. And before, in 2017, I know I had to go compete over there. They invited me to do a class and compete. So I was like, oh man, I gotta cook lamb in this thing. So 6 months leading up to that comp, I did nothing but cook lamb. My family's like, stop feeding us lamb. We're over it. And so we go, and I win the competition. I win first place in lamb.
Really?
And I get the trophy, and I tell my family, this is the last time you're eating lamb. Thank you for that. But I lied directly to their face because they invited me back the second year, and I won lamb again the second year.
Is that 2 in consecutive years?
Consecutive years back to back. So I really love cooking lamb. When done right, it's a phenomenal meat. It's got great flavor.
Okay, so you're from Memphis.
Yes.
So are you a Memphis style barbecue guy with pork ribs, sauces, rubs?
Yeah, we talk about style a lot, and to me, what's cool about Arizona is it's a melting pot of everything.
Right.
So I think my style is a mix of the South. It's a mix of, of being in the Southwest. I love spices. I love the Latin flavors. Mm-hmm. I love the mesquite wood, the barbacoa. I love all that. So when I'm cooking at home, my style is a little mixture of all that. But for competitions, most of what we do is what's called the Kansas City Barbecue Society sanctioning. Okay. So when it comes to competitions, I cook to what the judges expect. Right. And a lot of what they expect is Kansas City style barbecue. So
burned ends?
Sauce. If they're right, I'll put them in the box if they're right.
Right, okay.
So the competition is a whole nother different level. It's it's the best of the best, and you're competing with the best meats, and it's different from restaurant, it's different from catering. But to me, it's my hobby, and that's what's fun about it is I get to get out of my normal business and just go have a competition with my friends and family and have fun.
You picked up some style during the Navy when you were going overseas and learning some spices and some cooking techniques in some of the countries you visited. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I actually wrote 2 cookbooks, and the second I wrote is a sauce book, so it's really just dedicated towards sauces, and a lot of it are those Asian sauces, some Midwestern sauces, and Middle Eastern sauces. I recently competed in Dallas at the World Food Championships, and in the finals, they gave us brisket, and we had to take this brisket and create a meal for the judges and explain why. And I took that brisket and I turned it into, you've heard of a poo-poo platter, right?
Oh yeah,
a little mix.
Sure.
I gave them what's called a QQ platter.
Wow.
So I took that brisket and I gave them a brisket and crab fry fried rice with like a quail egg on top. I did a brisket and a shiitake mushroom gyoza with a wasabi aioli on top. Then we did an overstuffed brisket egg roll with a smoked mango chili sauce, and then a burnt-in brisket, teriyaki burnt-in, and pineapple skewer. So I flipped that into an Asian meal, which was a lot of stuff that, I got when I was traveling overseas, was those flavors that I gravitated towards. So when I got up and told the story to the judges about, hey, this is based on my time in the Navy, and that's what I give you, I was the only one to get a perfect score from all the judges. And I actually won the 2022 World Barbecue Championships in Dallas last November. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really cool.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
I know some brisket eaters there.
Absolutely.
Right?
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us about that championship. What was it like take us behind the scenes? What's it like when you're doing something like that?
Yeah, competitions are just that. It's that you're creating that one bite for the judge. They're not really going to eat a whole plate of your food. They're really going to get that one bite. So it's really about getting as much flavor, as much tenderness, as much love as you can into that one bite or that one meal that you're doing. So it really is that focus. And as with any competition and in life is, you got to be organized, you got to be planned, mise en place, everything in order, everything in place. That's what's going to make you a better competitor, is having a plan, being organized, and knowing what you're doing. You got to research it. You got to have an end goal. And a lot of people will start with something, they have no idea what the end goal is. You got to know what that end goal is to get there. And barbecue's exactly that, because there's not just one way to get there. There's a million ways to get there, but you just have to have that end goal of that perfect tenderness, that perfect bite, that perfect flavor. And competition barbecue is focusing all of that and all that culinary skill into that one piece of meat or that one bite that we call one bite barbecue.
It seems crazy you would have to cook up a big meal for that one bite.
Yep.
That's the whole judge. That one gets all critical on that one bite.
Yeah,
That's pretty intense pressure.
But what we'll also do is we'll focus whatever we're cooking to really just those bites. So I'm not cooking a 20-pound brisket. I'm going to separate the point and the flat, and I'm going to trim down the parts that I need and cook exactly what I need without a lot of excess. I actually have a crock pot going at home with extra Wagyu brisket for dinner.
Right now?
For my kids, and they're spoiled. They get Wagyu brisket.
I'll bet the kids
Wagyu brisket.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's that one bite. So we have the best meat. I cook briskets from Snake River Farms. They're gold grade Wagyu brisket, which is full of marbling, intramuscular fat, and that's flavor.
Yeah.
You ever cook Japanese Wagyu with number 5, 85?
Oh yeah, that's
really. Where do you get that at?
You can get it at a lot of local butcher shops.
You can?
Yeah, go to a lot of small local butcher shops here in town. There's a group of several of them. Just Google around you. A lot of them have that up to A9. They'll have Wagyu. It's just like there's barely any meat at that point. It's just
I was just say, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's beautiful.
I don't think I'd want an A9.
I mean, it's like foie gras at that point.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's just the richest, fattiest, unctuous piece of meat you've ever had.
Wow.
You got a couple of favorite butchers in Scottsdale that we can
Rusty Nail Meats is a great one. They're off of Scottsdale and Shea.
Yeah.
So they're really good. They carry my product as well, and they carry a lot of other local rubs and seasonings and other businesses like that, which is really cool. So Rusty Nail is really my favorite spot if I'm going to go.
That's good.
Get something like a A6 or
is that right?
A brisket that's just a Wagyu and it's marbled crazy.
It's about a mile from where I live. I'm going to be heading there this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a great spot. Absolutely.
Right.
There is another one I think that was up off of Bahia on the 101 loop over there. I've been there. I don't know exactly.
I'll look for that too.
Yeah, I think it's called the Scottsdale Meat Market.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good.
That's a good little spot too.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Stuff, yeah.
All right, so I knew it was going to happen because we're so excited about barbecue and food. We like talking about it, but just our obligatory criteria. Talk to us about what you're doing for veterans and giving back, and how you're helping. Are you helping Scottsdale veterans specifically, or?
So I've done several classes here and across the country, and a lot of them I am involved with different veteran groups. But really, what I'm working with is what's called Firefest, and it's a group that we go to military bases across the country, and we work with the MWR office, and we put on a mini barbecue competition for the day. We instruct, we teach. I do a brisket class, and we kind of just get the active duty involved in something, get them involved with cooking and having fun, and just keep their mind off of something for the day. So we've been running that with Firefest, and then I work with a group called Saluting with Smoke out of Illinois, and we're what we'll do is I really love this event because I get to coach and teach, and I'll coach a team of veterans, and they'll have another coach who teaches Marine vets and Air Force vets, and we do a barbecue competition. We're not allowed to touch anything, the coaches are, and it's all world champion pitmasters, so we're all razzing each other and giving each other hell, but it's awesome that we have these vets here who are learning from us, and we get to teach them and kind of show them for the day what we're doing. So it's really awesome to be involved with those kind of groups, and just showing them that I never knew I wanted to cook after the Navy. I never knew I really wanted to do this. I had no clue I would have rubs and sauces, but I gravitated towards it, and I fell in love with it. And if you're passionate about anything like that, then you can rule the world.
Right.
Just think about that word passion. You follow your passions, and it takes you where you want to go, right?
Yeah, 100%.
A lot of people don't get that benefit, man. They don't, they're working in jobs they don't like. But if you could follow your passion and make that your living, wow. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I was really fortunate with my products to get involved with a co-packer out of Kansas who runs what's called a championship rub line, and so they manufacture my product. They also distribute through all my retailers nationwide: Ace Hardware, Lowe's. Pretty much I got 6 countries importing it now, so it's just kind of been crazy to go out and grow the brand and get it to where it is right now.
But we'll talk about Loot and Booty. How'd you come up with a name?
Yeah.
Your banking background makes you a good businessman, right? So you know how to run a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk about that, and I say, I have a degree in finance, and once you see the numbers and you've written 10-page reports and why the bank should give this guy, $7 million based off of EBITDA and debt service coverage ratio, you kind of figure out numbers, and you kind of, if you have a widget, a water bottle, a rub, a pen, if you know how to put the numbers in and sell it and market it, then it can be anything.
There you go.
So absolutely, that helped me a lot, having that business background. But yeah, it's been key to that, running that business. But yeah, I quit my full-time corporate job in banking to run that line, and it's been from the website to distribution to getting it on shelves to classes, teaching classes all over, and taking my rub off the shelf of a million other people's shelf and cooking with it and putting it in people's mouths is very powerful. So that gave me a lot of ability to spread my brand, to get out and not only put the rub in your mouth, but to teach and show you, hey, how to use that product. Not just hey, put it on your stuff and cook with it. I'm going to show you how to get the best out of that product. So teaching has really been a big part of my success.
That's really cool. How'd you come up with the name
Loot and Booty Barbecue?
Yeah,
Let's go back to that. In 2009, when I said, you know what, I'm going to compete. I think I got a good product, and we'll see what happens. I saw all these awesome barbecue names, and I said, I got to have something like that sticks out. I had the logo. I had the pig skull and crossbones. Already had that. I knew that I wanted that. And I just needed something to go along with it. So I had all this list of names, and Loot and Booty was one of the names in there. And we narrowed everything down, and Loot and Booty stuck. And it's almost like competition barbecue, because, Loot and Booty is, and for a pirate, you're going out getting treasure, you're getting money, you're getting gold. That's all the loot. The booty, all your bounty.
Yeah.
Right.
When we do competition barbecue, you get number one. What do you get? You get trophies. You get cash.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So it kind of just played into it.
Great tie-in.
Kind of just tied it in. The Loot and Booty Barbecue.
Navy pirate thing going there too, right?
I
love it.
If you're in the Navy, you're kind of a pirate for the rest of your life.
Arg.
Pretty much.
That's great. So are you, is AZ Barbecue Week still going on?
AZ Barbecue is still Mike, who runs that. Mike Ryman he has a catering company.
Okay.
He has several events that he's running in the Valley. I think there's one in Springerville coming this November. But yeah, Mike, it's called AZ Barbecue.
And it used to be in Chandler. Is he still doing the Chandler event or no?
Yeah, actually,
Seems
what's
like
funny is he was out there vending for that event, and I was out judging.
Oh, really?
He brought me out, and we did judging for all the barbecue vendors out there.
Okay.
That was an awesome time. That was really good. The KNIX Beer Festival,
Yeah,
that one?
yeah,
That was out there.
Okay, is that still going on then? Is it going to be this year?
It happened. Well, it just happened.
Oh, we missed it
a couple months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're going to have to wait till next year.
It's okay.
He talked before about patience. It's key.
Yeah,
exactly.
Keep the patience thing going.
You got to get it right.
That's right. So you're an author too. You got a couple of cookbooks. How did you get in? How did that happen? I know there's a story there, but
absolutely. And I was actually reached out to by a media company 3 years before writing the books that I wrote, and they wanted me to cook or write an electric smoker cookbook. And I said, honestly, I've never cooked on an electric smoker, and I don't want to give you some recipes if I don't know what. And I said, keep me in mind if anything else comes up. A couple years comes up, boom, it's COVID too. So COVID just hit. So it was perfect timing because it gave me time. All the events were shut down. Classes were, rescheduled and booked. So it gave me time to get in my backyard and do a lot of recipe development. So the publishing company reached out to me and said, hey, we have this project called the Complete Barbecue Cookbook. Do you think you'd be interested? Sent me a layout, and I said, this is right up my alley. Let's go. So I knocked that one out for them. And what's really cool is, and I never thought of myself as being an author or writing or anything like this. So it was kind of tough at the beginning to kind of get going. And then I thought, you know what I'm going to do is just teach a barbecue class. And then once I said that, it just flowed and it became easy because I can talk about that for hours.
Sure.
When you guys said it's 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, good luck.
I know, right?
So
buckle up.
Once you say that, once you say, okay, I'm going to teach a class, I'm going to tell you what I know about this from everything from picking out the right piece of meat to seasoning it right, to getting your grill set up, to properly resting, to cooking, to holding, boom, then it just flowed. And that was really cool. And then recipe development was fun because it allowed me to get in my backyard and cook, which what I fell in love with at the beginning was just cooking in my backyard. And then right after I wrote that book, the publishing company hit me again and said, hey, we have a sauce book. Look over this. And I was fresh off of writing that book. So it was like, okay, let's go. And that one kind of just came out too, because I think it was the wheels were going, you're in motion. And I think I was in motion. So it was great. So during COVID, it gave me time to recipe develop and do a lot of stuff in my backyard and relax a little bit because I was going a lot. I was grinding.
Sounds like you were, yeah.
I was. I've been in Australia now 10 times. I'll be there in 2 weeks now.
No kidding.
That's a big trip too.
It is. Yeah. And the cool thing is my family was able to go with me 2 times. They've been to Sydney. They've been to Melbourne. But, going a lot and traveling the way I do, COVID really it was cool because I got to slow down and just enjoy.
Stay home.
Enjoy it.
Right.
And then, a couple years later, kick back up, and now we're back in the grind. Now we're back in the grind full force.
I didn't realize Australia is such a big barbecue country.
Recently, you never heard of shrimp on the Barbie?
Well, yeah, I guess
shrimp on the Barbie, right?
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Well, seafood on the Barbie, I guess. Yeah.
But
but cattle,
it's actually became really more popular the more barbecue in America has. Actually, barbecue in America has become super popular since all the shows.
That's true.
Barbecue Pit Masters came out.
Yeah.
Then everybody wanted to compete, and then all the Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay and all these live fire shows. I was actually on a show. I was on Destination America. Smoked. Me and a local guy, Phil the Grill, competed against each other.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
So I was out even on a show. It's crazy. It got a lot of people involved into it, which is really cool. For any sport or anything. I loosely call barbecue a sport. But
it's competitive.
It's like bowling. You can drink beer while you're doing it.
Yeah, it's better than golf, probably.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I've ran many times the box if I've been late.
Yeah.
So you got some heavy breathing.
And that's part of it, right? Getting the timing because you have to put your box.
Absolutely.
Has to be there in time, and people are late all the time, aren't they?
They have been. Several people have been disqualified for being late. So timing is a big part of it. Holding the meat for the proper slicing and all that. So every little thing, attention to detail, goes into competition barbecue.
Right. So I'm curious. You said to circle back to something you called recipe development. How does that work? It's almost like a science experiment. You sit in the backyard just kind of mixing stuff up differently and trying to see what you come up with?
What I said before was like an end goal. Like, what's my end goal? Do I want to have some sort of Asian dish? Do I want to have a Latino or Mexican dish? And then what spices, what ingredients go into that? So I kind of start with something and then I'll back into it, figuring what flavors I want, what end goal, what tenderness, what acid goes with what salt and what peppers, where I need Maillard reaction, sugar. So a lot of that will go into it. And that recipe development allowed me to do a lot of research too. So which was really cool. That absolutely helped me become a better competition cook, is that research. Just when you know food in general, because food is science. Everything is boiled down to its science. So, when you're cooking, the more you know about that science, you know how salt maintains moisture. You know how caramelization happens. You know how smoke forms with moisture and nitrous oxide and all that. The more you know about that, the better you're going to be, not only a cook but a competition cook, a chef in general.
Yeah, it's cool. Love that experimentation stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We do put it together.
There's been a lot of failures. There was some nasty stuff. I don't want to say nasty. It just didn't pair right, but that comes from, doing it in your backyard. And I tell people in comp all the time, they want to win now. And I'm like, you got to burn a lot of meat before you get good.
That's it. That's the question. Yeah, can you taste it on your finger when you're doing a sauce or a rub?
Easy.
And then, then you know you got it? Or do you have to actually cook it in the meat to figure out?
I mean, everything's a step.
Okay.
Everything's a step, and I like to taste along the way.
All the way. Yeah.
Before it gets too sideways, you can fix it.
Can you fix it? Yeah.
It's kind of like you're bowling when you're young, and you got those little binder, the bumpers there.
Yep.
So to me, it's small steps along the way, and if you fix something in step 2 or 3, it's not going to be messed up in step 8.
Yep.
So a lot of that is trial along the way. But there's been a lot of failures that I've had in cooking barbecue and recipe development that it didn't work out right. But I would have known that if I wouldn't have done it.
That's right. You got to. Well, you got to fail to win, right?
100%. You got to go out and do it. If you don't try, you'll never know.
Never know. Yeah, exactly right. What's next?
So, okay, let's see. Yeah, and next week I'm flying out to Sydney for an event called Vivid Sydney. It's an awesome celebration of food, light, and art there in Sydney. So I'll be at what's called the Fire Kitchen doing a couple chef demos. Then I get to relax a little bit with my family. So I'm meeting them in Hawaii for a little relaxation.
Nice.
Go back. I was stationed there from 94 to 98. Right? Yeah. So
okay.
I haven't been back since. So it'd be cool to go back and see. And then let's see. I got a class at the end of the summer here. We talked about at AZ Barbecue in Glendale. Okay. And then I have a class in Florida at Megabyte Barbecue right after that. And then we have the Naval Air Station Lemoore with Firefest, actually 2 weeks after I get back from Sydney. So we go into Lemoore, California for that. And then 2 weeks after that, we have Naval Air Station. We might be in San Diego and Camp Pendleton for another Firefest event. Yeah. Saluting with Smoke event is in September in Illinois. And then we get into the American Royal, which is the huge annual World Series of barbecue that I've been going to for last night. Kansas City.
That's what is it in Kansas City?
It's
that's
in Kansas, the heartland of barbecue.
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Where it all started for me is going back there.
Really? Back to the roots, man. Right?
Yeah.
Barbecue roots.
I mean, crazy is I went in 2007 to compete with the bank, and I was I was out of my element. I had no idea what was going on. And then in 2013, I won my first Kansas City Barbecue Grand Championship, which allowed me to compete in the Invitational in Kansas City back on those same grounds. Right. So in 2014, I went back and I took Reserve Grand Champion, which is second place overall in the largest barbecue competition in the world.
Wow. Yeah, fantastic,
it was crazy.
Man.
And then I went back last year and did it again. So I've Reserve Grand Champion twice there.
A lot of people are going to have you in the crosshairs, man, Sam. We're coming after you now,
it's
right?
It's only at the
top. Wow. That's is there things for fans to do there as well?
So the bigger events like American Royal, there's bands, there's parties, there's vendors, there's all kinds of stuff.
Can they eat good barbecue?
Yeah, there's a lot of vendors. Usually at these events, they don't allow the competitors to sample to the crowds because depends on the local health codes there. Right. And most of us are just competitors. We don't have commissary kitchens and that kind of stuff. So they really just allow that for the vending. But if you know somebody and you become friends, and Uncle Bob wants to come back and try some pulled pork and maybe slips you a beer or something.
Right.
There you go. Nobody knows nothing about nothing.
Yeah, it works. Just, what happens here stays here,
Uncle
man.
Bob over here.
Uncle Bob.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah, you just become Uncle Bob real quick.
Kevin, what another great show with another great person here today.
Yeah, I was going to ask Sterling, but I think he answered my question, because I was going to ask him, what do you do more of, teaching or competitive stuff? And it sounds like you're on the road a lot.
Yeah, so the funny thing is I was competing a lot and then teaching little, but it's kind of became half and half. I really do about as many classes as I do competing.
And do you still do catering or no?
Not really. Yeah. I don't really do a lot of that. I refer a lot to my friends who do that full time.
Yeah. All right, so who's the good barbecue people we should be eating in town?
Oh, man. AZ Barbecue, Mike Ryman, he does some great catering. If you haven't been to Little Miss Barbecue,
Scott.
Scott.
Right.
I've known Scott for several
years.
Have you? Now, I tell everybody, if you want some great, phenomenal barbecue, that's the one spot to hit.
Now, he's kind of he's a Texas guy.
So he does Texas style style.
Yeah.
He he has those Camelback offsets that he's using, and he does.
Yeah.
But to me, it's about that texture. that
Camelback
tenderness,
offsets
and
are the
that little-
grills, right?
Yeah, the wood, and I think he's running pecan and oak. in
Yeah.
there. But yeah, it's phenomenal barbecue. Little Miss.
Have you been a
is
Little
the
Miss,
spot to
Don?
do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's by far probably hands down the best spot here in Arizona.
Okay.
Fantastic. Sterling, great show. Thanks for being with us today, man. Really, what an amazing story. Thanks for all that you're doing, putting Scottsdale front and center on the barbecue map, and all you're doing for our veterans too.
Thank you.
And to all of you listening, we keep bringing you great people to get to know in our city, and the well never runs dry, man. There's so many cool people doing so many cool things. And it's just a privilege to be able to bring them all in front of you, Kevin, right?
It is. It is.
And don't be selfish. Share these stories and share our podcast with your friends. And you know what? We'll see you next week for another edition of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.